This episode has been brought to you by Fornos Law Firm, devoted to optimizing your legal results at fornoslaw.com.
Welcome to Bushrim Life After Injury podcast for February 27, 2013, episode 22. Special guest, Andrew Angulo. I'm Ray Pizarro.
I'm Richard Bell.
I'd like to welcome our audience once again for being part of the show. And, we have a special guest with us once again to share his story and all his great work that he's doing out there with disabled community and getting different kinds of media out and cool projects that he's involved with. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate about being here and really excited. But it's really good to see you guys again.
Yeah. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, since the expos and support groups, amongst other things.
That's right.
So, we're going to dive right into it. And please, Andrew, whatever you want to add or not add, it's up to you. We let people just kind of, share their story with our audience and our community. So if you want to start off and, tell our audience or explain to them a little bit about how you got hurt and, what type of different projects you were, how therapy was for you, and, little things like that.
Sure. Okay. Well, I suppose the good place to start is my injury. I did get hurt in the summer of 2009, June to be exact. And I was really big into motorcycles, and just one evening I was riding down with a friend of mine, and we went a little too fast, and I didn't judge a corner. And unfortunately, I was going at a good speed, not paying attention, actually had my visor up and yelling at my partner for going too fast.
Oh.
And by the time I looked ahead of me, the street was actually banking right, and I missed a corner, hit the brakes and hit the sidewalk. And the impact actually wasn't a fast or a very, like a high speed crash. In fact, I braked the motorcycle down to a point where basically my bike just fell over and I just kind of flopped off the bike. But unfortunately, it was the way I landed. I landed on my chest and I kind of, did kind of the scorpion kick kind of type of thing and then snapped my back.
Done that before.
And the funny thing, looking back in hindsight was that, when I fell, the first thing, that came to mind was, an F word. But the second thing that came to mind after that was I dropped my bike, and I was upset, that I had just crashed,
Right.
I scratched my bike up.
I scratched my bike, and then, it was that moment when I tried to get up and I realized that I wasn't moving. My legs weren't moving. And that was the moment that I realized something's wrong.
Yeah.
So it didn't really hit me right away. And then, I was very fortunate that there was a nurse driving home from the hospital. And I actually, the crash site was a few blocks away from the hospital. And she came.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're double lucky.
Yes. And she came by and noticed that the accident. She held my head and, stabilized me, correct. And of course, at that moment, I was so freaked out. I was kind of going into shock, and I kind of started telling her my life story and that whole thing. Never been able to find her, but, I was very, very gracious, and, she was my angel that evening.
So if you're out there, Andrew appreciates you.
Yes, I do. I do. And, and then basically went into surgery. 12 hours later, they came and told me that I suffered a T7 spinal cord injury and that I'd be paralyzed from the waist down. And so I spent my stint in rehab at the Northridge Hospital, at that rehab center there.
Good place.
Yeah, it was great. All the physical therapists, all the nurses, even maintain friendships up today. It was an unfortunate experience, but at the same time, I'm very lucky and glad that I can be here.
Now, how did it affect you as far as emotionally goes? I mean, some people take it with anger, a lot of crying, depression, which is normal, a way to vent out your frustration and scared of the unknown, really, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, everyone goes through their grieving process, and I certainly went through my grieving process. And even today, I mean, it's a little over 3.5 years, and even up to this moment and, these days, I still grieve my, lost abilities of being able to walk. But I know at that particular time, the only strength that I looked at was the fact that, I have kids and my children were still looking up to me at that point, and they were really scared about the situation at hand. The fact that, my life and their lives have changed. And so it was trying to make sure that I kept a clear head as far as not tumbling down emotionally, to a negative state. Of course, I still went through my depression and, the dark nights and whatnot. But really trying to keep a happy face and telling, my kids that don't worry, Dad's going to get back. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. It's going to be a little different, but we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And they, really helped me through that particular transition of the injury.
Yeah,
that's something that, isn't mentioned much. The effect on, immediate family members and friends, could be even more traumatic for them than it is for us. So,
also having that backbone, to lean on, and them leaning on you to make it through those dark times.
And I just remember, I mean, that when they first saw me in the hospital bed, they were afraid of seeing me in that particular, state. And they were crying, and I tried to comfort them. And I remember at that point that I told myself, it's like, I gotta stay positive. I gotta keep going. I gotta show them that we're gonna make it. Nothing's gonna change other than the fact, we're gonna do it like, I'm gonna roll as opposed to walk, and you may need to reach some things from the higher shelf because I can't get there, but things will be the same. And that was that particular feeling that and thought process that I had going through the initial injury. But again, like I said, I still went through a very, very hard time.
How was it for you going home?
The home transition is certainly difficult, but by that time I was in rehab for about 60 days. And I mean, I was ready at that point. I was ready to leave the hospital.
We all are.
Yeah. At one point, at that point, it's like, I'm done getting woken up, 3 or 4 times a night. And I'm going to do this on my own at home. And so, I was ready to come home. And things was a little different, but it was comfortable at the fact that now I'm in my own home. And,
now you could do your own schedule.
Yeah, I could do my own thing, and just kind of figure things out. But of course, that transition is still difficult. It wasn't easy because now there's not someone there if I fell. And I mean, there was a couple moments where instances, I should say, that, I remember falling off of my couch, and I'm still in my TSO. And, I couldn't move myself.
You were stuck like a turtle.
And and my kids were freaking out because they're sitting there staring at me and like, oh, and I'm trying to like keep a happy face, like, oh, don't worry guys, I'm okay. But deep down inside, I'm going, oh, how am I going to get myself up,
Freaking out.
And then I had to call somebody and, somebody had to drive over and pick me up, but, those were those moments that kind of shape, those are the things that they don't teach in rehab is basically those skills,
That's true. Yeah.
Those scenarios of the unknown.
Yeah. Cause nobody ever falls in rehab, huh?
No, they certainly try not to let that happen. Yeah. But,
for their sake. Yeah.
But and then of course venturing out, like rolling down the sidewalk, by yourself and, and I remember, here I am wearing that clamshell and I'm like rolling around
you can't bend,
crap.
You can't lean forward, you can't.
And I'm like, okay, if something happens, but of course, as time went on, things got a little easier. And by the time I was able to remove the TSO, that, it kind of opened up a whole new world of learning how to transfer. And then of course, that point where I was able to, purchase a new car and, being able to find that independence.
Yeah.
And
gain that peace that you lost.
Yeah.
And knowing that you could drive again was a big deal, right?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
I could get around again.
Absolutely.
Great.
So was, learning your, wheelchair skills, was that done after therapy at home?
Well, obviously, navigating through the hospital, during rehab, I kind of learned some of the basic skills of using a wheelchair. But yeah, it was at the time when I got to transition out of the hospital at home is when I kind of started learning how to, really navigate and do a little wheelies and this and that. And not in just till recently. I mean, like real recently, maybe like, I'm going to say about a month ago, have I like now felt comfortable where I can like wheelie down a ramp,
Right.
As before, I'm just like, okay, I lean really far back and just started going down an incline. But now I can go, okay. So
with confidence and doing it in a safe way. Now, as far as, getting back to work, I don't know if you probably were working before you got hurt, but how was that? Were you able to get back to your old job or did you just take time out?
No, I was very fortunate, once again, that, I was able to go back to my old job. And I remember when I, initially got hurt, I was a manager of a distribution center and, they were checking on me and checking my progress. And they asked me if I can come back soon. And, originally, the doctors have told me, he's like, you should probably take off at least 12 months before you try to make a transition back just because of your emotional state and your physical state and this and that. And I remember I kind of understood where he was coming from or his suggestion, but, I really, as far as emotionally and physically, I just like, I need to get back to work.
Yeah.
And so, I made the transition back to work after 5 months after my injury.
Good for you, man.
And,
that's a big deal.
And I remember the reception from the people that I work with, my coworkers and, my peers and whatnot. They were really, really open and very happy to see me back at work. And I think at first they were just trying to feel me out to see if I was really delicate. But after a while, they just realized it's like, oh, Andrew's the same guy. He's just rolling around as opposed to walking around. Yeah. And that was a really good feeling. Just, having the sense that people were, responding to me the same way they were before. And that was really my goal, for them to, get mad at me and not feel bad, like, oh, I'm yelling at a disabled person. Yeah. No, it's me. It's,
feel pitied,
that's
right?
Right. That's
but I'm sure you like to throw that in their face every now and then.
Oh,
right?
no, well, just maybe it's like, hey, I need a cut in front of the line, just, hey, be nice to.
Now, going into, what type of projects you're doing now, I know you're really active in doing some media things for your website. You want to talk a little bit about that and how you got into it or maybe got into doing film or photography and things of that sort?
Yeah, absolutely. The time that I got injured, I remember, I went back to work and I started looking out online for videos and whatnot, about paralysis, disabilities and whatnot. And I just realized, or saw that there were some that were there and that were very helpful. And I, got really inspired by watching certain, vloggers or video bloggers and whatnot. And they were talking a little bit about themselves and their background. And I thought, hey, I could try that. Let me try it out and see how that will work out. And I remember I made the investment in the camera and tripod and all this good stuff. Right. And I had my kids just hold the camera. Like, okay, guys, you hold the camera and I'm going to try this. And we did it. And that was March. I remember that was March of 2010 was when I first put a video up.
That was at home, right?
That was at home, yeah. Inside. And I just started talking a little bit about, my injury, what happened. And, it was originally just, I wanted to make that one video just so I could show my friends and family, what happened and what I was going through and this and that. And then I just continued. And, we had a really great time and I was having fun doing it and just trying to put something up weekly or monthly. And of course, and, I did that for a while and got to a point where I was able to go and, I remember the big thing as far as a video that I wanted to capture was being able to go to the Abilities Expo. And that was in 2010. And I remember just being able to, I looked at certain personalities or people that you see in the magazines and this and that, and I know they were going to be at the expo and I wanted to go and talk with them.
Yes.
And I wanted to just kind of get
their perspective,
and get their feelings on what they would say to other people that have maybe been injured. What would you tell them? So I interviewed a couple of people, and it went well. And from that point, I kind of realized I was like, I got to keep doing this. Mm-hmm. And then as time went on, doing videos and whatnot, I remember I've always been into photography. Just taking photos of random things and whatnot. And I didn't really get serious until I just remember seeing a photo in a magazine of this photo set of people wearing the makeup of Dia de los Muertos, which is like Day of the Dead.
Right.
And I looked at it, I'm like, that looks so cool. Mm-hmm. I would love to try to take pictures like this with people with disabilities, people in wheelchairs, mm-hmm. And I called a friend of mine, Bobby, and she's a talented makeup artist, and she does this on her own and, just kind of do it for Halloween and this and that. And I call her up. I'm like, look, you could do this kind of makeup. I want to try this. And I'll find the girls, I'll find the models, nice. And you come and let's put the makeup together. Let's put the ideas together and let's do it.
Let's see what happens.
And let's see what happens. Awesome. And then, it was birth at that point.
Right.
And, we just loved it so much. We just kept doing it each month. Mm-hmm. At that time too, I realized I'm like, I gotta create a website and
put all that together.
Yeah. Put it all together, and also wanted to do some blogging as well and find particular stories that are in the mainstream media mm-hmm. about people with disabilities or run-ins with celebrities with disabilities that have something to do with that type of thing.
Right.
And do a little blurb about it and throw my little tongue-in-cheek twist in it.
And you do a very good job of it, man. I'm a subscriber. You also have a YouTube channel, which you post, all of your stuff up there, or most of it is
I have two YouTube channels. One that's my own personal.
Oh, your personal one?
My personal channel, which is Angel, ANGL 747. Then I do have another, YouTube, account, is Disabled Life Media, where we've been putting the behind the scenes of our photo shoots out.
How fun.
And that's the name of your website?
The name of the website is disabledlifemedia.com.
Oh, Disabled Life Media, but Disabled Life Media, right?
Yes. It's Disabled Life Media.
I like how you did that.
The logo.
Letting people know, this is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the whole tagline too is just, we may be disabled, but we are this abled to matter.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's great, Andrew. Look, listen, that's our website of the day, disabledlifemedia.com. And, you guys if you haven't seen his work and what projects he's involved with, he's doing a lot of fun, creative things, which is great. It lets a lot of other people that are in chairs and get out there and do some fun, as a project and let people know we could still go out there and be creative and enjoy life again.
Yeah. And we certainly, if, I have a Facebook fan page, Disabled Life Media does. And we encourage people to come and like the page, because that is how we put out a model call because we open up the gambit to allow people with all types of disabilities to be a part of our photo shoots. Right. And we put a model call out there when we do need or when we do set up for a photo shoot and we need people and models and guys and girls. That's how we let everybody know. So if you can have people come to the Facebook fan page, like it, and you'll stay connected with us.
You're going to just drag me to Facebook, aren't you?
That's
all right. All right. I'll check it out.
All right. Yeah. So,
like the page.
Yeah. It's great stuff. And also Andrew is also, of course, a member of Push Rim, and he comes in there and adds its 2 cents in and throws up videos and shares with our community. So, there's different ways you could access his work and just kudos to you, Andrew, and keep up the great work, and love to see people evolve like that. And also, do you have a Twitter handle or maybe?
I do. It's, at Disabled Life M. And that's, cause I couldn't get the whole Disabled Life Media, but I got Disabled Life M.
That works.
Yeah.
So there you go. Another way you could contact Andrew. Well, Andrew, dude, this has been a great interview with you, and we're going to have you back as you evolve and have different fun projects.
Absolutely.
We'd like to share them with our community.
Yeah,
so
we actually need to have him back after Abilities Expo.
Yeah, to see how those videos went and stuff like that. So,
and those of you watching, check us out at the Abilities Expo We're going to have a booth. I'm sure Andrew's going to have a booth somewhere in there. And, you know, check us both out.
That's right. Abilities Expo LA. And also you could check us out on, you know, our YouTube channel, Club Pushrim, one word, and, subscribe, like us, you know, and, help
and of course, our website.
Yes, definitely. Pushrim.com.
There you
so
go.
Right.
Come out and be part of the community and share. The most important thing. And remember, there is life after injury. For any questions or people want to contact us directly, you can reach us at info@pushrim.com and send us some emails, shows, topics, suggestions, and maybe we could have one of those appear on our show coming up. So, Andrew, thanks again for being with us, and
this was fun. Thank you.
We'll do it again.
Absolutely.
Thank everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.